Lil' mama told me that I'm looking kinda floss. Boss, ask me what my tent cost me. I don't do the light shit. Windows looking real dark. Like the boss. For Giottos when I'm parking. And my engine hella barking. Boss.
Welcome to Bossed Up Mondays. Laurie Palmer, I am your host. Do I have a show for you tonight? Okay? I mean, this show right here is finna what? Crack. I got a surprise guest for you guys that can take us all the way back to Ray Ray Winston. And that was kind of like the first murder that happened here in Portland, Oregon. And I have worked with him for a number of years, attended church with him. He knows me. I know him. He helped me raise my kids. And we're just going to talk about, you know, our history, where we came from, and leave you out with, you know, where we're at now and what we're doing in the community. And so we have no other but Rob Richardson.
Okay there, Laurie. Thanks a lot. I'm certainly glad to be here and appreciate being invited. Yeah, we do have a host of things, and I know going back to what you mentioned that Ray Ray Winston and Ford is the most popularized our first gang situation, what we're calling it gun violence, because it's certainly now then lifted itself to all phases and all walks of life. We don't have a designated street corner. Violence is just like rain. When it falls, it affects us all. So I certainly, again, salute your work and the work that you have continued to do, and one, to make sure that it's clear that your feet were down way before the fact of the accidents of your son. Mm-hmm. And that's very more important that the fact of it is what's in you is winning and caring and trying to engage young folks to get another, and it's not just young folks, but all folks. But I think that, yeah, the birth of this situation has multiplied beyond measures in what we perceived it to be. And we certainly continue to have day-to-day encounters of violence, and certainly with everyone's on the heartbeat of understanding that this gun violence is certainly something that we cannot just get the norm of. We don't want to get set in our ways of just how it's going. No, that ain't just how it has to go, because certainly without the reservation of the Lord and God, which is large and in charge, and certainly we need him more now than we've ever before. And this is a decree to the churches and the pastors, and certainly a time that we're dealing with that lets us know that we're all hands on deck.
All hands. Hearts too.
And hearts, because, well, like I you know, the motto have always said, the heart of the human problem is the problem with the human heart. And so we definitely need to excel ourselves, and no one gets an exemption to not participate, because you can give and not love, but you can't love and not give.
That's right.
And we've got a wounded generation that, you know, again, it's not as much as important about what you know, how much you know, until they know how much you care.
That's right.
And so we certainly have spread the wings, and you have been, again, the catalyst, and I am so proud and so excited to be a part of a team that you're putting together and then put together. And the answer's in the process.
Right.
The answer's in the process and the daily work. And that's why I saluted, outreach is a place. Mm-hmm. The work is in reach. So when you know more, you can do more.
Tell them what in reach you're talking about.
Well, in reach is the contents of the process in which you try to give a young man or a young woman in that capacity a recipe to stay out the backseat of a police car. Someone that understands that direction will keep you from distraction. Mm. And we multiply ourselves in the place of saying that in reach is, it's an attitude. You know, your attitude affects your altitude. And so, in reach is certainly something that over the years, as many years as I've been engaged in trying to help and play some part. And we all get wounded. We all have been hurt. earlier today, and just certainly we may touch that, but touching mothers and hugging on grandmas that have took losses is not all. You don't get no patent on it. The same. You can't say the same thing to this mother that you said to that mother. It ain't a routine thing, and I say it all the time. I don't know what you're going through, but I can relate to it.
Correct.
So, because I can't fire God, and he's the only one that can judge the heartbeat of an individual, because he's the one that made the deposit even before we was born.
Right. So you're referring to the mothers recently that lost their loved one. I can really relate to what you're saying, because I find myself lately, with from 112th and Powell, it's just going on and on.
Yeah.
Now we have all these mothers that we
Yes.
have to go out and see, and that's kind of the direction I'm going, is with the mothers, to go out, give them, like healing care baskets, talk to them, be there, kind of like have the family, lean on us to make calls and give, resources, show up at the funerals, to help support that family. There's nothing like when you are a mother or a family that have lost a loved one and you're doing all the work, but when somebody can come in and help you
Yes.
do the work to ease it, because all you can handle at the time is that grief, and that's a plus.
Well, yeah, and certainly, like I said, at my age and the passage through life, there's no greater love, I feel, without a doubt, than the love of a mother. And, we understand that, daddy might put him or her out, but mama going to let him back in, feed him, and give him some money and tell him he got to go for his dad to get here.
Right.
But she going to love on him no matter what.
No matter what.
And so we certainly need that ingredient to be at the table to heal and to seal. And we've been on a pathway that we've had. We talk about the absence of fathers. And, that we can't get past that. But at the same time, there are a lot of men that are standing up, are strong, and still yet can be hit with the snake of the violence that occurs because we've gotten a toxic atmosphere. And the only thing that can change a toxic atmosphere, you overcome evil with good.
That's right.
And so when we get to that place, because one thing I do know, and even in my personal walk of late, that the fact of it is when anger rises, our IQ's lower. So we have to be steadfast. And we talk about the increments of that, Bobby, Jamie, Mikey, whatever. They wasn't hurt long, but 60 seconds can turn into 60 years, because the fact of it is, in that moment of time, you can make a permanent decision on a temporary situation.
Right.
And so we just want to show and amplify things to say that we are more than just walk with us and care with us and give this and be a part.
Right. And so, in speaking on that, I'm going to go ahead and turn my little thing around here.
Yeah.
We need the community to be more engaged. These are their kids is out there dying. These are their kids is out there dying. And, for 7 years, the platform that I have is a community platform, because I was a mother that when my son got hit with gun violence, I decided to stand up, and not fight back with a gun or get involved with all of the extra stuff that goes on. My thing was, I stand for righteousness, and I'm going to be a part of the change and hopefully the solution. What I see now, people are coming to the table with, they coming in with titles, they coming in with, money, gatekeeping. These are the people, and people that don't even live in our community is creating stuff from us. And it's like, you from the outside looking in, but you got us this in the community that have lived this life sitting here, and they still ain't using us. And see, I'm getting tired of sitting at tables like that. And my thing is this: you cannot have a problem and jump past the answer to the solution. So everybody talking about a solution at the table. The answer is us. Us. Yeah. All of us need to come together and parents or whatever have you. It ain't about coming to the table snitching and all that. No, you come in here. I've been doing serious work. I've been doing policy work. I've been doing housing work. I've been doing this work because it's all the underroot, grassroots issues of violence. We can't just focus on, we just got violence. Let's focus on the grassroots issues, which is poverty, which is all those other things that I said that I'm doing, and we're doing and helping out. But we need the community to stand up as well. I'm just one woman. The kids had put together my PowerPoint down at the business school at PSU. And when they got up and they did the presentation, they said, well, this is a one-woman ran program. And I was like, that's sad. But I need to take off my superwoman cape. So that's why I'm hollering at you guys right now. Hey, the harvest is good. The tables are set. You need to take your place. Just come and do the work so that we can have a message and take back education to our community and our families for change. That's the only way it's going to happen.
And certainly, without any reservations, I mean, I think that old school, new school, we've heard the thing about, you must get an education, you need an education. But if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And so we're eating at a table now that we find ourselves divided when we have more. It's amazing that now that we have more, it seems as though we have compiled to have less. Because the main thing, and certainly the podcasts and these avenues of communication are great tools to revitalize that understanding that, no, you just can't walk alone. And, it's certainly saying from the old school, I mean, you know in texticals that what can't work together. A hand is fingers. But when it becomes a fist, it makes a so much much of an impact. And so, I need you.
Yeah, I need you too.
You need it. We need the mailman. So the contest is not as devastatingly about being on the front line or being on the only line, but it's about being in collaboration and understanding about that, we're at the table, and we certainly, because life ain't but 10% of what happened to you. And 90% of what you're going to do about it.
That's right.
And so the levels of understanding of what we can. And little is given much when it's in the hands of the Father. And again, it's like not but beating. I don't have the process of wanting to beat nobody over the head with the Bible or whoop them with a scripture, but live one.
Okay.
Yeah, live a scripture, and it'll manifest itself because, God's plan is still yet the best plan. But at the same time, it's not an indictment about the character of where you're living. But, and it's been said 1,000 times, certainly not the only one that have ever made that statement, hurt people.
That's right.
And so we can get some more folks to the repair shop and get them dents fixed in their hearts in the pathway. And as I always use it in the contents of heart transplant. In the spiritual ramification will change a great deal of things. So I salute you so much in the contents that you've stayed online, you've had. And one to say, don't want to use that statement about biting the bullet because we're talking about gun violence, but in the sense of being able to was built to stand and endure, and not about the great people, the house that they build, they may not never live in it. Mm-hmm. So we can't get discouraged. So we must be, it help us one to another. And it ain't no big me, little you, and in most cases, no, I'm not trying to be better than you. I'm just trying to be the best Robert Richardson I can be, as well as you trying to be the best Laurie you can be, better Laurie, because we all got a trail.
That's right.
We all got a trail, and we all have come from somewhere. But at the same time, when people can feel more humanized and not ostracized, and they want to be educated instead of investigated. You see what I'm saying? So they can make more decisions that will be prevalent for everyone.
Right.
And I think you amplify that in your action. You're an action person. Mm-hmm. Tell me what I can do and I'll do it. Or God gonna tell me what to do and I'm gonna do it. But the long journey of walking is in the process. What, is it done yet? Is it done yet?
The process. Timing is everything. I got it at 7 years. I'm like, oh my God, ain't nobody helping me or nothing like that. And I was watching, I think it was T.D. Jakes, and he said timing is everything. And when you making something or you creating something big, it takes time. And yes, one person has to build it because it's your dream. So, I was like, okay, I can see now why it took so long. And I want to say this. In saying that 7 years it took so long and I had to build, well, I came in the room, I didn't know nothing about gun violence. I just got hit with it.
Yes.
My son got shot.
Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah.
6 times.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope. And I was a mama like, oh, you hit the wrong mama's son. Oh,
Yeah.
what? We finna have some changes. And, and that's exactly what I said to the camera. Young man, you just shot my son? You gonna be changed too, because if you think you're just gonna get away with it, you ain't gonna get away with it. And second of all, me and my family will never be the same. It's gonna be changed.
Well, it needs to
And
be.
then I am going to become a community activist.
There we go.
And I spoke that in a month.
Yeah.
And I've been out here through my son, 20-something surgeries, me going through my own surgeries, me going through my own life, but I'm still standing.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's about the heart.
Yes.
It's about, I care about this community. I have family members in this community.
Yes.
I have to fight. When I buried Jasmine 2 years ago, because he didn't die 2015, because I had prayer over him, and God honored me. Really, he did.
Yes.
Because my prayer was, I don't want to never find my kid out there in the street. And God honored that.
That
and I
is
thank him for that. Yeah. That's why I said, if I get to the hospital and my son live, I'll serve you forever. And I always will stand up for what is right and what is for my community and for your children.
Yes.
Your children. And that's who I serve. And that's why I'm here. And
that's great.
I am just so thankful that, not thankful, I just, because you ain't already said, I'm proud of you.
Well, I
Let's
mean,
take it back a little bit. I had just got out of prison for like the 8th time, and I would, POs, go back for violations. But I got out of prison, and I had read Bambi's story in prison, how she had changed her life.
Yes.
And then we had Charlesetta.
Oh
my God, Mrs. Charlesetta.
Yes,
We got to talk about her. She came into the prison.
Beautiful chocolate
and I'm talking about how people need a mirror, or how people need their family for real change. You can create books, jails, or whatever have you, but the real change come when the person can see themselves changed in you.
Yes.
Especially if you've been out there. And so Charlesetta, they called her name over at the loudspeaker. I was like, they didn't let her up. We was all just waiting like, what?
Yeah.
And I got over in there, opened up the door, and it was like I opened it up to a dream. She was sitting up there, jeweled up, talking about she worked for Monoma County. I'm like, what? Because, I knew her. She'd be nodding. She's old Dolphine to me, you know. I'm like, what? And I looked at her, and I went back to myself.
Look at God.
And I meditated on that day and night. I said, if you can do it for her,
come on now.
Please do it for me.
Come on now.
Because I'm tired of coming back and forth.
Yes.
My kids is in CSD.
Yes.
I'm hooked on crack.
Yes.
On alcohol.
Yes.
I'm hoeing.
Yes.
I was doing all that.
Yes.
And just one blink of the eye, God came in. And he came and got me.
Come on now.
Come on. He came and got me.
Well, he will arrest you.
And so I got a hold of that story, and I was like, all my stuff was stamped on my head. I said, I ain't going to go to no church. And people said, well, Manuel Temple, because the lady said in the article, Manuel Temple, she went there. So I got my niece, and I came to the church. Make a long story short, I said, I hope don't nobody in here call my name. Well, Keith Palmer
come on now.
Was the counselor to my brother that I was trying to find. He was in damage. And you guys had developed that program where you guys went in and got people out of damage and had put them in houses and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I first remembered you guys.
Yes.
You was doing that project, and then you were doing the gangs as well.
Exactly. Well, redirection was certainly a growth that came about with the founder, Bishop A.A. Wells, and certainly we had tutelage and the late passing of both of them, gentlemen and scholars of the word, and Clarence Bishop Wells from Elkland, Inglewood. And so he certainly was a mentor to me in the contents because he had been in gangs and this, that, and other, and he went and got his degree.
I never hear that.
He went and got his degree, and and this, that, and other, and polished himself, and almost became and opened up what was considered to be a Christian jail. The pathway to getting there was certainly about a criminal activity, but the process of getting out of there was called rediscovering yourself and becoming a saint and the man of God and standing strong and going from that tough guy to a guy that's tough. And them are two different people because the tough guy, he want to hang out and look slick and do what he need to do as opposed to what he think he's doing. And then guys that are tough, they pay their bills. They stay with their children.
That's right.
They have a recipe of understanding with marriage and holiness and that format is. Because, the brotherhood has always been a strong anchor. And there's a lot of folks that are standing on 10 toes now and believing strongly in God and winning in the winning circle because of that pathway, that reach out. And like I said, to be able to be reached in. Because you can't clean a fish until you catch him.
Come on now.
He don't belong to you. He don't belong to you. So, but I do believe that we're on some fast track. We cannot stop. We cannot pull over. And when I'm asked the question, what's the difference in the old gang group and the new one? Well, what's going in them? You know what I'm saying? What's going through them? Because we had, so... We have to acknowledge the fact of it is, no, we didn't have 16, 17-year-old junkies. Eggheads, the nose running like a water hose. And they got to have it. Ooh. So we have to certainly address that and be clear in the fact of what has them at such a place that they feel such an escape from a world that we've helped build is better. We got more money than we ever had. We got more education than we ever had, but we got more pain than we never had.
Say that.
And so the mothers, and again, and it's one episode after another, but I truly believe that God, and know without a doubt that there's an out.
There is.
And he said that in end days it would be war, rumors of wars, and mothers and fathers, and this, that, and other. So it ain't no new script to them that understand the script.
Come on.
So, but like I said, it's not as important about what the future holds when you know who holds the future.
Come on.
And so that's kind of what we want to engage and plant a fruit within the contents. There's so many young men that I feel so proud of is that I used to say that. I wouldn't say it that jokingly. Well, what's you call them doing? How Jason doing? How they do? I said, I'll allow them to go to jail before they do again. And then I know that might get to be a true passage. But it's so rewarding to see when folks get the Murray clay out their eyes. And when you drop that nugget on, Charles Etta. And to this day, I have a great relationship with her son. And I remember Charles used to say, well, he ain't going to listen to nobody but
Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's on top.
Oh, he was a knucklehead.
Yeah.
He called me auntie. Yes.
So, it's just a host of others. So you got to see winning to continue to believe in it. But you're gonna see the news, but we ain't gonna talk about the guy that went from zero to hero.
Come on.
And, but we certainly gonna know about who got shot last night, or last week, or this morning, or yesterday. But that ain't all the story.
That's right.
That's just part of the story. So don't be disencouraged at the fact that the noise that we hear and the things that are going the way they're going, because there is a man that knows a man or a woman, and that we can overcome, but we have to stay strong on the village of understanding that we need each other.
That's right.
Can you please pass the potatoes?
Talk about the full meal, honey.
Oh, man.
And the other one where a man needs a man, remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, the punchline of it is, boy cannot become a man until he's held one's hand. Now, that don't mean that there might be a teacher, that might be a preacher, that might be a coach, that might be the man that stay down the street that is a male man. But the passage, and, I had the things to tell grandma that I understand. Now, I read my kid about... I understand. No, you was the one who was at the cash register. I understand you was the one over the stove. I understand you was the one. Come here and put these pants on. You was the one that's doing that kind of lifting. But when he crossed over and seen that light of understanding that gave him the more that he wasn't born just male, but he had to transform himself into a man, there had to be someone in that pathway. And that's why we have 300-pound tackles and guards and this, that, and football crying and at the championships and this, that, and other. And I want to thank my coach that he was there with me. And, you know, because, again, it's certainly one, reach one, help one. Because there's a lot of young men that, you know, I wasn't a real daddy, but I was all the daddy they had.
Yes. And they speak very highly of you.
And that makes a difference. And it don't give you no trophy to put your chest out. It just lets you know who you're working for.
Right.
And so as long as we don't forget who we're working for. But, again, I want to commend you and appreciate these. But these are the vineyards and the avenues that we have to deal with because this is where we at. Ain't no sense getting an argument about with a podcast or Facebook. No, that's how it's working now.
No, for real.
I mean that's how,
social media.
You got to work it the way you wanted to work
Right.
it. He pulled us over on the side of the road and thought about COVID. Well, let's Zoom then. we can pray from here. Yeah. So
we are intelligent people.
Let's
if
Zoom.
we can put all that together, red, white, blue, I don't care who you are. We human and we all in this together. I mean, we might as well do it all together. You know, I want to talk about the whole meal. Remember the meal.
Yeah. Well, the meal things and the contents is that, you know, the dinner table, it left a place. It left us as a part of what identified us strongly. We had a place that was our first sanctuary because depending that, you know, Laurie had the bread, Rob had the potatoes, Robert Jr. had the meat, and someone else had the salad. But we needed each other
That's right.
to have that meal. And so dependency is a good thing. It's not a solid a state or attack. But now I got my own bread, my own meat. I got my own potatoes. I got my own. I don't, you know. So monetarily, emotionally, yeah. If you were to say that, how much do you really need another person? Because a baby will die if it don't get. A baby will die if it don't get a certain amount of touches.
Correct.
It ain't much farther. The older you get, that don't leave the room. And it's amazing to me that an infant or a child that can't walk is not afraid to fall. Mm-hmm. But when a man that can walk, his whole thing is always centered around, am I going to fall? Or am I going to engage myself? So we have to make sure we can turn this thing that you're already winning.
Man,
if you're still breathing.
That's where we're going to go with that winning.
Okay.
Check this out. We winning. We tired of losing, okay? It's about winning, okay? Not losing lives, winning them. And winning them is we coming together and we educated, we taking it to the street, we taking it to the families, straight to the household, and bringing it on down, educating them to be peace ambassadors. We need to be peace ambassadors of our own house, of our own community. You know, we winding down with that time, so I'm finna shoot you with it. Did you hear all those nuggets that Robert had? Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
I love it. I love it when you talk in riddles and rhymes, but you bring it on straight.
Yeah.
And we were just at the prison, at the club that we had for Juneteenth. I can't say the name of the club, but it's the African American. Rusasa?
Yeah.
That's Rusasa.
Culture Club, yeah.
Well, anyway, I love them men, and I was there and I got a chance to speak. And when you were talking about we need our men to stand up, I got up there and I said, can I get all my kings to stand up? All you kings.
She's not giving it all the love and the way it happened. And if you were there in the power that run through this woman. I don't even remember what I was
doing, but I said all the kings to stand up.
Yes.
And all the African-American people stand up. And I said, wait a minute. I said, all my kings, ain't y'all men?
Yeah.
And I said, I used the illustration. I got a black and white granddaughter, Mexican and black, and I got in me. Baby, it ain't about what you got in. It's your heart. And you want to care and you want to change the community. And so they all stood up. And
yes, they did.
It was like 300 of them.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I mean, the power in that. All of them want me back, honey.
Yeah.
The Mexican groups, everybody want. Yeah. My son said, Mama, I can't even go to the yard. They think you're a movie star. I said, nah. They know I touch their hearts.
The anointing will do what it's going to
Honey,
do.
I touched their heart.
The anointing is going to do what it do.
Yes, and so we're going to bring them to the mic. The men is finna
Yeah,
start
they
coming to
need
the
to
mic.
be a part of this.
Yes,
the recipe.
is.
They have to
are
have an
going to.
ingredient into the recipe.
Correct, because when you were talking about reach in, I thought you meant to also reach into the prison.
Yeah, well, that's
because
it.
we need to reach into the prison and go in there too to get them ready. They transitioning now with nothing, no education, no nothing. It's just like same old thing. Repeat.
Well, Lord, one of the things, like I said, the whole world is a classroom.
Oh.
The only verdict is out did you catch the lesson. Because
Mm.
if you woke up this morning, you got a new day.
Correct.
And so that it's when we just went through the Father's Day. What you want for Father's Day? I said I want to open up my eyes.
Come on.
And y'all keep loving me. And it don't get no better than that.
Yes,
So
you don't need no gift.
So when I was referring to in reach, yeah, without a doubt, if we don't use none of the antidote, because they don't stand soberly unalone. I mean, there's some brilliant minds. We had some folks called Malcolm, and we had some other folks that have went through the trials and tribulations of being incarcerated, or being denied, or restrained. And Abdul Douglas he's a walking encyclopedia in the contents and for his reach, and he's engaged himself to understand the makeup of the political world, the social world, and took ownership in his pen, because he's got a tough pen about how he has sold himself to try to be an ambassador not only for Christ and Allah, but at the same time trying to move and change the lives of men, and even those of the younger men. Because there's a tutelage that we have to understand. We always come from the situation that always adult us, that the elder was always the shot caller. Now, with them 12 and 13-year families that had 12 and 13-year kids, 13 and 12, 13 kids, well, the fact of it is, the oldest was always the hell come.
Correct.
Laura, when I get back here, this high better be straight. And I'm looking directly at my oldest daughter. So male or female, them assignments came with real marching orders.
For real.
And they be tutored ourselves. So we do, again, as long as we don't lose the fact that we are somebody. And the Black Lives symbol, but, all lives matter.
That's right.
We're not segregating in the contents. What's the best race you're going to be is in the human race.
Come on.
And we got to make sure that we understand that as a whole. And, it's done got too complex. That Mississippi street fair they had, man, it was just mind-blowing to me. All the diversity, women, old, young, beautiful.
Feel like you're in another city. Go down there and enjoy it.
Thousands of folks.
Yes.
I had to park all the way at the church to get over on Skidmore in Mississippi.
And you had never experienced anything
And I had
like
never had experienced that. And I had been in this town, and I know we had the breakage because of COVID.
Yeah.
But the people that are still alive and thriving and laughing, and kids are
That's
moving.
who we need to be connected to.
And so we don't want to lose that. No, it ain't just always the traffic jam and the bang bang.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of more good life living. And I salute you again, Laurie, and the fact that you've been winning well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, time is winding down, so I'm going to say it like this. You guys is at Podcast BUM, B-U-M, Bossed Up Mondays, and I'm working this shirt because I believe in representing, I believe in putting other people on. And as you spoke about that fear, this table ain't just going to be about no violence and talking about all that kind of. I want to bring real stuff, good stuff here.
Yes.
Kids that got high GPAs,
Yes.
people that's winning on this table, represent businesses.
Yes.
Like this business right here. You see that logo right there, GMP Podcast. Baby, they put me on, and I got the mic. Like TDJ say, I ain't gonna drop the mic. Wait, they done messed up and gave me this mic. They did, Rob. Rob had to mess up.
Like I said, no. God is Jacob, and then he's saying, saluting his servant.
Yeah.
And like I said, a leader servant it don't make no creed, color, race.
I didn't earn my stripes, though. Right,
ain't no doubt. You didn't,
Yeah.
and continue to earn
Man,
them.
listen, and when I say I'm a boss,
Yeah.
And when I say bossed up, I'm talking about God.
Ain't
But
no
down
doubt.
here, He expect me to be a boss and not let situations and nothing boss me around.
Yes.
And still help each other.
You got
So
to do that.
Y'all stay bossed up and understand next Monday, tune in again. Share this, please. Share. Put my girl out there because I'm going to put you on. Hey, Roy, how you like it, baby? I'm working it. Oh, and once again, I need to send out a shout out to Felicia and a shout out to Kim and a shout out to any mother that have lost your child. My heart is with you. I got you, girl. Hit me. I'm serious. Woo, my heart is with you. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Like I said, comment, like, and share. Get it out there. And I just started, honey. This is the second taping, okay? It's finna be on and cracking. And for you guys that want to talk, I can mumble with your voice and put a shield over your face like the FBI, and we can still get it in, okay?
There we go.
Peace out. Go get your child. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Yes. Love and life.
Boss, ask me what my rims cost. Lil' mama told me that I'm looking kinda floss. Boss, ask me what my tent cost me. I don't do the light shit. Windows looking real dark. Boss, for Giottos when I'm parking.